So we're down today with Holly. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk through some of her things that she needs to work on. So we're going to look at her technique, we're going to break it down, we're going to teach some coaching cues. Although Holly is very experienced in the gym, she knows what she's doing. This is going to show that there's always room for improvement and there's little things that we can always work on to get the most of our session and make it as effective as possible. We're also going to be having a little chat, kind of face to face, about some of the things that she might struggle with as a young woman when it comes to social media, things like body dysmorphia. So it's going to be real, it's going to be raw. So hopefully you're watching this, ladies and men as well. You can get some real good valuable stuff out of this and get a perspective of someone who's well trained, but also some of the struggles that she deals with as well. What we're going to do now is focus on a squat movement, okay? We're going to look at the things that you do good with the squat, and if there's anything that needs correcting, tweaking, we're going to do it, okay? So first and foremost, show us your squat hold. Good. Okay, do one more rep for us. So, even though the bar was completely empty then, okay, you'll notice that Holly really took her time. She didn't rush the reps, and what you'll notice is that them reps there she just did are pretty much going to be near identical to the reps that she's going to do with weight on, okay? Let's get some weight on that bar. Let's progress it up. One thing, right, that you don't do, okay, but I've had to correct you in the past, is when setting up for the bar, girls especially do this wrong, okay? Let me show you what I mean. Normally what people do is they'll come under the bar and then they'll grab on. It's a bit low for me, and then they'll lift off. Now the problem with that is that you're never going to be central, okay? So what I've taught you is that we need to make sure that we line up centered to this bar. And the way that we do that is we take our grips and then we go under the bar. By doing that, we always know that that bar is going to be central on our back. Now, the reason that's important is if you're not central, you're going to be lopsided, okay? Let's go ahead and do it. And then if you have got your ponytail, you can always do the hair flick. There we go. Okay, so you're going to lift off hold, you're going to step back, okay? From there, you're going to make sure that them feet positioned are about shoulder width or slightly wider. Now, perform 5-6 reps for us, hold. Perfect. Now notice the things that she's doing really well with this squat, okay? Her elbows are almost pointing downwards. And what's happening is just simultaneously bend her knees and her hips so that the movement is straight down. And as you can notice, all the weight is to the back of her feet, sitting in her heels, and she's really pushing through the floor. Do 2 more for us, hold. Arm rack it forward. So, things that people often get wrong with this movement is the foot positioning. So it's the setup, okay? The setup of any movement is so important because if you mess that up, then the rest of the exercise isn't going to be efficient or effective, okay? So think about ground up. Feet up is where you need to set up. So what you don't want to do is have the bar on your back, do a rep, and then have to adjust mid-set. It's okay when the light's a little bit weighter, but when it starts getting heavier, I think we can both agree it's a bit dangerous to be messing about with your feet position, okay? So number 1 is foot positioning. Number 2 is core and keeping it braced, okay? So making sure that we've got a real strong trunk to support that weight on our back. And then the third thing that you need to remember is keeping them elbows cranked down. So notice how you had your elbows down. If you allow them elbows to flare up, where is your chest normally going to go? Question. Down or up?
Up.
Up. So if you play your elbows forwards, your chest is normally going to go down.
Yeah.
With a heavy bar on your back, that's not ideal, is it? Okay? So, one more set for us, hold. The majority of your training life, you've probably been like diet to get as lean as possible. Yeah. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now you're in more of like a push-up, building, growth phase, all right? Now I know what you struggle with, okay? What do you feel is like one of the hardest things to get your head around when you're trying to build muscle and gain weight? What do you think?
I mean, it's eating the food, really.
Yeah. What about
That's
like
a massive thing to do with it.
Definitely. And how do you actually feel? You know, when you're putting some size on and you're trying to build muscle for like future physique, how do you feel like in your skin?
I'm not feeling the best. I'm not feeling the best.
It's almost one of them things where like a lot of girls are very scared to go into like a building phase because they don't want to gain weight, they don't want to build, you know, they do want to build muscle, but they don't want to gain body fat.
No.
The reality is, and I drum this into you, is that like you have to go through that bit of uncomfortable phase to put the muscle tissue on, to actually pull it off and uncover what you've actually built.
It's a long term, isn't it?
It's a long-term thing.
Doing it healthy.
You got to do it the right way, and I think, what would you say to a girl who's maybe like, oh, I don't want to go into a building phase, I don't want to get fat?
You just got to do it.
You
just got to stick it out. You just got to stick it out.
Definitely. And at the end of the day, you get a lot of food to eat, so you don't need to complain.
I know, I can't complain about my food I'm eating at all. I can't.
Brilliant. Right, we'll move on to, so next up, what we're going to work on is pull-up progression, okay? Now, the amount of times that I get girls coming to me going, I want to do pull-ups, I want to do pull-ups, not necessarily for like the response you're going to get from it, but just because doing pull-ups is fucking good. You want to do pull-ups. So what we'll do today, we're going to teach you, or we're going to talk you through, if you can't do strict pull-ups, how we can kind of bridge that gap between doing none and actually doing some form of pulling movement that's going to assist. So all I'm going to ask you to do, show me your pull-ups. Let's go. If you can get 1, 2, if you can't get any, it doesn't matter at all. Let's try the underhand grip.
Underhand?
Yeah. No, whichever way you feel most confident with. From the dead ones, whatever you feel like. Pull, 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 pull. Nice, good. Pull, 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 pull. Nice, good. And again, one more. Pull, 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 pull. Brilliant, well done. Rest there, okay. So 3 pretty decent pull-ups there. Now, what we need to do is figure out a way how we can get more reps in that same movement pattern. So if we were to just do sets of 2 and 3 for a set, multiple sets, we're not going to get as much out of it as what we need. So we need to make it a little bit easier to allow us to get more reps, to therefore get stronger at that movement pattern. The main thing we're going to do is use a band to assist that movement. So you've probably seen this loads of times, okay? What Holly's going to do is she's going to put her knee in the band. Now this is obviously going to give some resistance and a little bit of assistance pulling up, okay? First and foremost, we'll take a grip. If you have got someone there, they can easily put the band on your knee. Let's go. So we'll go 1 knee in. Now the important thing is to push that knee down, okay? From there, Holly's going to then pull up. She's got a little bit of help from the band. Excellent, good. Pull. Pull. 1 more. Pull, 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 pull. Brilliant, rest. As you can see, she got pretty much near failure on that movement there. So what we'll do now to make the exercise a little bit easier is we're going to increase the length of this band, okay? Rather than put it on your knee, we're going to put it on your foot. So what you want to do this is 1 foot, you want to stamp your foot down on the bench first. And then what you want to do is cross this leg over the front of it. And then we'll step off. Now she's going to pull up. She's got more assistance from this band. Brilliant. Now the key things to remember here, right, are that we don't really want to be swinging. We want to get full range of movement. 1 more rep. Pull, 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 pull. Excellent. And foot back. And then when you're getting out, be safe. You don't ping your leg up into the air. Okay? So, how did that one feel?
That's better.
Better?
Yeah.
Brilliant. We talk about a lot. It's kind of like, we're similar. What does the gym do for you? Like, how does it make you feel? Is it an escape? Why do you train?
Clears my mind massively.
Yeah.
Gets me ready for my day, every day.
How much of an impact do you reckon it has? Like when I know, because you get good grumpy. How much does it affect you if you don't actually get your session in, physically and mentally?
Mentally, I feel like an anxious mess all day if I don't go.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not awake. It takes me ages to come around if I don't go first thing in the morning.
I think a lot of people don't put enough emphasis on like how much it actually does for your mental state. Like I've never left the gym and gone, I wish I never went. There's been loads of times where I actually go to, I'm on the way to the gym, I'm like, I can't be arsed, I don't want to do this today. But actually leaving the gym, knowing that I've been in there, done something, even if it's not been my best session, I always feel glad I've gone to the gym. And it's almost one of them things where, unless you actually go to the gym and get that session boxed off, you don't realise how much better you feel for it.
I mean, I go to work and everyone's like, everyone can tell if I've not gone to the gym that day.
Why? What you like?
I'm just a completely different person, so down and so tired and groggy.
Yeah.
And like the girls actually say, you've not been this morning.
Not been.
They can tell. They can tell.
Definitely. I think, especially, you know, with yourself being a young woman and that, it can be quite difficult sometimes because social media, I think, plays a massive part in a lot of us, you know, myself included, lads, women. So it can be quite easy to like go on Instagram and scroll and like compare yourself to other people and stuff. Do you struggle with that? Have you ever dealt with that where you've compared yourself? How does it make you feel? And then what do you do to not let it kind of...
Massively. It makes you feel massively insecure. Instagram. Massively. There's so many people that you can be sat there comparing yourself to. First thing in the morning, you go on your Instagram, you check it, and you feel like shit instantly.
I think there's a fine line in there between actually using it as like motivation to go, that person looks really good, I'm going to get up off my ass, I'm going to go and do something, and between actually thinking positively about it and like, oh my God, I don't look like that person. How do you use it as a positive rather than a negative?
I mean, if you go on Instagram and see a girl train looks sick, you're like, right, I need to fucking get up now.
Crack on with it and do it. I think that's the main thing to take away from it. In there, like obviously when you're on social media, comparisons it's okay, but as long as it's using like a positive light, where it's not taking away from like your self-esteem and how you're actually feeling. You know, using it like you said as a bit of motivation and inspiration. Like, got to understand that body goals, you're never going to look like the next person because they're their own individual.
Yeah.
But using it as inspiration, like, he looks, I do it. I look at lads and I go, wow, he looks mint. I want to look, you know, not necessarily like him, but he's giving me some motivation and inspiration to actually go and better myself. And I think that's the main thing to take away from that is comparison can be a thief of joy if you use it in a negative way. So use it as a positive, use it as inspiration and motivation to actually get up and bet yourself. Arm training for girls, okay? Overlooked sometimes because a lot of girls don't want big beefy arms, okay? But it's not the case, it's not how it works, okay? So what I always say when you're training your arms, especially for women, is you want to make sure you're hitting them at least once a week, bicep and tricep. But we don't really need to go for a massive volume approach, okay? So we do need to stimulate the muscle, but we're not really trying to prompt too much growth in that area, okay? So all we're going to do is a superset today, 2 movements, bicep curls with a tricep overhead extension, okay? So dumbbells up, I'm going to start on bicep side, palms facing forward, we're going to go, okay? All we're going to do is 15 reps curling them dumbbells up. So again, the weight isn't heavy on these, okay? So all we need to focus about is creating tension and stimulus for the bicep. Now that's why I've got to do 15 reps because the weight's a little bit lighter. What you'll find is as you get more and more reps, the weight starts to feel a little bit more heavier and you'll see it start to struggle a little bit more. Okay, let's do 2 more. 1 more. Cool. So, you familiar with tricep overhead extension?
Yeah.
Okay, so we use the same dumbbells now. Both at the same time we'll go, yeah. So this is a good superset you can do just with a pair of dumbbells stood in one spot rather than traveling around the gym, okay? So dumbbells are going to come up and behind your head. Now the key thing here is we're trying to get a big stretch down this muscle. So bend them down, keep coming, good. Stretch the triceps and then we're going to push and press up straight above the head. Now you'll hear lots of people saying elbows have to stay in really, really tight, okay? It's not the case. You're allowed to let the elbows flare out a little bit. Good, as she's pushing up, triceps are doing the work. So again, we're going to go 15 reps. So she's done 15 bicep curls, she's done 15 tricep extensions. Now I'll get Holly doing this probably maybe once or twice a week at the end of her sessions. Because yeah, we want to train our arms, but they're not a massive focus point that we really want to target on. We was having a conversation before, weren't we? About body dysmorphia, yes. Right? Now, you're in incredible shape, okay? Everyone that meets you, all your friends, oh my God, you look amazing, I want to look like you. Mm-hmm. That's not the case for you. You don't feel...
You said that, I'm like, no.
Yeah, you don't feel like that, do you? No. Okay? Now, the reason I'm pointing this out is Holly's in really, really good shape, okay? You struggle with, self-admittedly, a little bit of body dysmorphia. How do you deal with that? Because obviously, you don't think you look as good as you do. What goes on in your head?
I mean, some days I feel mint.
Yeah.
Other days I really don't. Like today, I don't feel good at all.
No. And do you feel like, especially being a woman, that can be affected by the time of the month, where your cycle's
Oh
up
gosh,
to?
yeah, massively. I think one time the week before the period, I gained like 5 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight for a girl.
It is.
Like you gained 6 pounds, different.
Yeah, it's not period weight though, mine. Period weight, can you say that?
Yeah.
But I think the main thing is I'm trying to get across is, you know, a lot of people watching this will be looking at Holly and be going, are you mad? Why have you got body dysmorphia, okay? Myself included, I suffer with a little bit of body dysmorphia. The thing you've got to remember is that everyone does deal with things differently. And like I was mentioning previously about comparisons, is something that you really don't want to be focusing on. You want to focus on progressing yourself, making sure that you're actually happy within your own skin. And I think if you really focus on that, rather than what other people are doing that they look like, that's how you're really going to overcome and tackle these things that you might be feeling like insecurities and stuff. I'm going to talk today about, in my opinion, the #1 exercise for ladies looking to build glutes, hamstrings, and overall leg development, and that's a leg press. Okay, there's so many different things you can do, such as squats, other machines. Personally, you're a lot safer. I feel like your head's on the stool there. I feel like personally, it's a lot safer. You've not got a free weight on your back. We can lower it up a little bit more. Less margin for error. Therefore, we can get more return from it by going a little bit heavier in a safe, controlled manner. Now, what we're going to focus on is foot positioning. So if you want to set yourself up, we want to go a high and wide foot positioning. Now, the reason we're doing this, okay, we're going to create a bigger range of movement coming through glutes and hamstrings, okay? We always want to make sure that our weight stays driven through our foot. So if you push your feet up, unrack it, okay, you want to pull yourself in nice and tight, and then range of movement is the key, okay? So big stretch, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and drive. Wicked. 10 of them for me, okay? Now, as I mentioned there, with the foot positioning, high and wide means that our knees are traveling pretty up high by your chest. And when we talk about range of movement, we want to make sure that our knees are coming, you know, as close to the side of our chest as we can get them. Some people may be limited due to the flexibility and stuff, but if you've got good flexibility or a good level of it, just like Holly has, do not neglect this range of movement. We've only got a 20 aside here. Holly could probably put, you know, 3-4 times more weight on here. The reps may suffer a little bit in terms of form and technique, but that's not the right approach. 2 more reps. Wicked, and rack it back on there. So pull that lever up, sweet. Now, the reason I was stressing there about foot positioning is this platform's so big for a reason, so you can get all over the place with your feet, okay? If you was to bring your feet a little bit lower down and more narrower, yeah, you're gonna target your legs, but we are gonna specify a little bit more quads, which is fine if that's what you're trying to target, but I guarantee girls want this to be a little bit bigger than this, okay? So that's why we go high and wide as opposed to narrow and low. Come on, one more big rep, big rep. Yeah, let's go, big drive, up, up, up. Nice, good, rack it there, well done. What's your stance on eating and drinking? Because I know you don't live like a regimented bodybuilder lifestyle, okay? But there's certain parts where you're very structured with your food and stuff like that, but I also know you like to drink, like nice food. What's your stance on it, and how do you approach it to not let it affect the things that you're trying to achieve?
I mean, probably go out probably like twice a month, don't I? Something like that. But I'm very much on plan.
Yeah.
Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Back on it Sunday.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, do you know when you just said on plan there, okay? A lot of people will think of that like, oh my God, on plan. It's like, on plan for you just means eating healthy foods that work towards the goal that you're trying to achieve, which at the moment is building some lean tissue. But when you know, let's say have a off-plan meal or cheat meal, whatever you want to call it, how do you not let it kind of like creep into the next day and stuff like that? What's your mindset when you wake up after a big meal that you're off plan? How do you kind of like get straight back onto it straight away? Do you go to cardio? Do you go to, what would you do?
So straight back to what I was doing before.
Yeah.
Straight back into the gym. Use all that food as fuel.
And I think like, because I'm the same, it almost gives you a bit of a mental break from like eating the same stuff, doesn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Gives you kind of, you know, something that you enjoy, and then you can kind of go back to eating the foods that are giving us a result and stuff like that. But I think it's really important to understand that when you do have something off plan or you go for a drink and things like that, you don't need to punish yourself. You don't need to feel guilty for it. Like I said, we're not bodybuilders, we're real people, real lives, and we want to enjoy the process as well. So I think that's the main thing to take away from that is like, if you do have something, go for a drink, enjoy it. Don't feel guilty for it. you've got to live your life. You've got to enjoy it at the same time. But again, you've got to be able to flip that switch and get straight back onto the plan that you're following to help you get to your goals. Cardio, okay? Now, cardio is important, okay? Especially if you're trying to keep the body fat down and just for general cardiovascular reasons, right? 2 forms we can do: steady state, Stairmaster, treadmill, things like that, or even just outdoor stuff on a bike, steady state, but for a longer period of time. But I'm aware sometimes you're pretty busy with work and you don't have 30, 40 minutes to go and do that. So one thing we can do instead is hit high intensity interval training. We can kind of condense 30, 40 minutes down into like a 10-minute window, okay? So what we're gonna do today, okay, you can try this at home as well, is 10 efforts of 40 seconds work. And when I say work, I mean hard assault bike reps, followed by a 20-second rest period, 10 efforts. It's only 10 minutes, but your heart rate is gonna get jacked, it's gonna spike it, and then we're gonna achieve, you know, pretty much similar to what we can do in 30, 40 minutes or even more, but in a different format, okay? So let's go, Hole. So this interval training, it's only gonna work if you're going hard for the time you're supposed to. Okay, and ease off there, Hole. So in this little 20-second window now, we just want to keep our legs ticking over. Now, if you're doing something different, if you're doing a skier, a rower, sprints, whatever it may be, just tick over, okay, like she's doing now. Regain your breath, get your composure back, because in 5 more seconds, you're going to do another effort hard, okay? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Now, watch the change in intensity. It needs to be intense. It's called high intensity interval training for a reason. 3, 2, 1, and ease off there. Good. So for you personally, what do you enjoy the most? Steady state or like this high intensity stuff?
This stuff.
This stuff, why?
Just get boxed off.
Get it boxed off, yeah? Again, I'm the same. I don't really prefer that long stretched out stuff, the steady state stuff. I think it's drilled it's drilled into us quite a lot that you've got to do Stairmaster, you've got to do, you know, certain pieces of cardio. If you're a bodybuilder, like, yeah, general people like me and you, we've got to think about our time, we've got to be efficient with our time. Like 10 minutes on this, you can get the job done. You can get it said like boxed off, okay? So good effort, well done. You're pretty confident in the gym, right? Okay? You can kind of come to the gym, get your head down, train, okay? But it's not always been like that. I remember when you first started training, the gym was quite an intimidating place. I think it can be, you know, quite an intimidating place for a lot of women. How did you kind of overcome that? And how did you deal with going to a gym and just cracking on with it now?
Just knowing what you was doing when you got to the gym.
Yeah.
And you had a plan. And you know how you perform it right. It's always like, you got on a piece of equipment, if you don't know what you was doing on it, you was always like quite self-conscious about doing it.
I'd feel a bit silly if I didn't know what I was doing. Like if I went to your place of work and just sat down and tried to do your job, I wouldn't have a clue what I'm doing, so my confidence wouldn't be there. So you've hit the nail on the head there, like having a plan and knowing what to do. So it's almost like the fear of, you know, the unknown, because you don't want to feel a bit silly doing something. You don't want to look like a fool on a piece of equipment.
Yeah,
but
thinking that someone's looking at you thinking they don't know what they're doing.
But besides that point as well, there's this big misconception that, you know, everyone's looking at people and judging people in the gym. That's not the case, trust me. Like, I've been in the gym for over 15 years now, and hardly ever have I ever looked at someone and gone, well, that tit over there, okay? It's not the case, because you're often concentrating and thinking about what you need to do. So, again, if you are a woman and you are a little bit kind of intimidated and daunted by going to the gym, first and foremost, have a plan, know what you're doing. By doing that, you're going to eliminate that uncertainty of looking like a fool in the gym. And number 2 is just remember that you're in gym for a reason, okay? There's purpose behind it, so you've got to dispel all these things going on in your head, because they're ultimately holding you back from making progress and bettering yourself, okay?